my Decentraland tokens. Amen, baby. I ain't gonna play in your Ponzi's. And now what's going on is millennials aren't buying equities. So what do they have to do? That's why they're printing money in the background. Like, a lot of the dollars are being used to essentially prop up a lot of equities in the background. That's right. We made our own Ponzi's. Amen, baby. Yeah, exactly. The game is rigged, right? So it's like we're going to play our own game. That's exactly what's going on. And because of that, we are not buying on that, and we're not propping them up. So the people. So I want to say this: 80% of people are not in the know about anything. From millennials to boomers to everything. Like the average person, the older person you meet, yeah, sure, they got conservative values, they got all this and this, but they don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. They just want to fucking get fucked up in Margaritaville, and they're just not trying to die from cancer or something like that. They want to live the next year, and they want to retire. Like that's the average person. But the top 20 and the top 2% and 3%, they know what's kind of going on in the background, really, especially in crypto, right? You really know what's like as soon as you start learning about cryptocurrencies, the veil starts unleashing itself, and you start learning what it is. Like learning crypto, you just look at the real world and you're like, oh, this is like this or like that. And if you think in crypto terms about what's going on here, oh, these fuckers are just printing money, or they're just doing this and this, or they're adding inflation, or they're adding new tokens to the ecosystem. So they're essentially stealing from us, right? So the average boomer doesn't really know what's kind of going on, and like it's really sad too, because like the bottom 30% of boomers and stuff don't have enough to retire at all, like at all. So it's yeah. So they can sink their own ship if they built, yeah. But but at the end of the day, all jokes aside, I do really feel bad for a lot of like some of the older folks, because it's really not their fault. They just believe the social programming that was put out there, and hook, line, and sinker, and all their wealth and money that they acquired and they put into the equities market was essentially being stolen by essentially the top 0.01% of people in Wall Street, the government, and also, like, I would say corporations as well of America. And this is not unique to just the States. This is to every nation on this planet, damn near. At least every major developed nation and in developed nation. So it's kind of a really kind of like fucked up situation where like that money's been stolen. And let's not even talk about like Social Security, you guys. Like that shit, that you ain't getting Social Security, you guys. I think, what was that? Social Security goes bankrupt in 13 years. From at least the last number I saw. So 12, 13 years from now, Social Security is out of cash. So oof on that one, right? So that might be the final. That might, like, honestly, that might be the final rug. So what's 20? That's 2035. That might be the final, like, boom. That might be the big one right there. I think we have enough. We have enough juju right now. We got enough kind of fuck shit going on, and enough narrative and enough money printing with the U.S. still in control, that we can keep this Ponzi going in the equities market and around the world and everything like that. And there's still militaries and stuff to calm shit down after if there is a little conflict. This shit can keep rolling around for another 10, 20, 13 years. But that Social Security thing might be the final nail in the coffin right there, where we go into a giga recession. So yeah, it's because it's like, because social, like, obviously some people are like, well, you didn't save your retirement. That's sort of like whether you want to or not with the 401k, right? Like there is personal blame there. But there's a lot of people that no, I was promised my Social Security. I hit 65, I hit 62 and a half years old, 3/4 and 1/4, 65 years old and stuff like that, and I can claim my Social Security. That's been like an ethos and promise here in the States. So if they don't receive that, that's like the final, like, trust bubble breaking of like, so that breaking is, I think, I think that's the straw that breaks the camel's back right there. When that fails, goddamn, bro, everyone's going down on that one. That one is going to go down. Yeah, that's not including the pensions as well, right? They'll try to spin it somehow, where like, well, the pensioners were just lucky fucks and stuff. Because if you really look at it, right, most Americans don't have a pension. I'm talking. I mean, like I would say maybe 5% of corporations around the world have pensions. You do have pensions with teachers and cops and stuff like that. So obviously, one leg down is at some point we'll have insolvency in Calipers, which is the biggest pension fund in the world, which is basically firefighters, police officers, nurses, school teachers here in California. So that's fucked already. Um, what else? Yeah, when Calipers goes down, that'll be a big dip right there. Oh yeah, that's a big one. But I think they could print their way out of that one. But narrative wise, because it's like, oh, those the guys running that were just irresponsible dumb fucks and stuff. We'll bail them. We'll bail out the entire thing and stuff like that. We'll be cool. But with Social Security, it's instead of it just being a state specific or a couple state specific, it is an ethos that covers the entire kind of like it's one of the shrines, it's one of the pillars of America almost that it's become since FDR created it was like in what 1937 or 1933. And when that breaks, right? So we have a couple pillars in America. The American dream, you know, owning a house one day, your family, Social Security. You have a couple of these things where, like, this is like the United States starter pack, sort of like, the American dream. You work hard, pull yourself by your bootstraps, to make that money. I think that's still alive in any country, but in America, it's probably the best, I think. But the family part, oh, if you shout out Red Pill, baby. But that one's bad. But then you go on the other side, right? You have a house. They're rugging the house right now. It might take them 15 years to ship that away. And then on top of that, you got the other side as well. So it's almost like we're heading towards, in the next 15, 20 years, we're essentially heading towards almost a feudal land era, almost like we're going back to the Middle Ages, where there's going to be fiefdoms and small, like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that, like, you have states like California is probably split into 4 or 5 nations, something like that, and you have, I mean, you're just gonna have micro states at some point, and essentially like land barons, where like they rule. I mean, it's like almost we're going back to medieval times, or mostly around the world. I don't think it'll get that bad in the states, but god damn, you guys, that's insane.